stated before, I wanted to start off by just saying a little bit about grief. Over the last 2 years, many of us have experienced unexplainable and immeasurable grief, which is always a struggle in general. And particularly around this time of the year, the holiday time, the cold, it is really the moment where we begin to miss and to really yearn for our loved ones who are now our ancestors. And so I really want to just say a few things. And one, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad. There's no timeline that any of us are on when it comes to grieving. People often say that it gets better over time. What I want to say is, and I'm sure many of you are aware, that it shifts over time. It changes. It morphs into something different, and you have the pain at times is still there. And so what I want to say is, for those of you who may be grieving, just let it be and grieve. It's okay. For those of you who may be questioning, why are you still sad? Shouldn't you be over it? No, you shouldn't. It's okay to grieve. If it's 5 years, 10 years, 50 years from now, because that person who meant very dear to you is no longer a part of your life, even if you can continue to remember them, you still will be missing their presence, and that is okay. I want to give you permission to be able to navigate and just feel all of your feelings that you may be having. And if it's feelings of shame, I want to encourage you as much as you can to let the shame go. Because we are all trying to do the best that we can to survive. And at times it is extremely painful. And during these times, we know that it's important to reach out to those around us. But grief, so much like so many other things, makes it so easy to isolate ourselves and to feel more and more isolated. And so, one, for all of those who are grieving, may Adonai comfort you, whatever that looks like. May your thoughts and memories of your loved ones bring you joy and laughter, and still tears and anger, all of the emotions that are connected with that. It is completely okay to feel. I want to also say something else about grief. When we think about grief, we oftentimes think about people who are no longer with us and the physical, tangible things. And I want to also name that we can feel grief even from things that we let go that wasn't good for us. The ex-partner who you love dearly but was not really capable of loving you back in the way that you needed. Or people in your life who have abused you or been toxic and you choose to step away. It's okay to grieve those as well, because that is a part of the life that we live. That is a part of our body responding to reality, responding to life in the cosmos, whatever that may be. And as you think about what that might be, and as you think about what expiring means, I want to say a little bit about the Gregorian New Year and goals and resolutions. I'm a person who tends to not make real tangible goals for the year, particularly for the Gregorian calendar year. I try to make goals sometimes around Rosh Hashanah, and really what I want to encourage us this year. It's something that I look back at some of my notes from last year and realize one of the goals that I set for myself is, what does it look like to stand in solidarity with certain groups? And for me, those groups were folks who are sex workers, folks who identify as fat and a part of the fat community, really wanting to provide support and more of solidarity, whatever that looks like for formerly incarcerated and currently incarcerated folks. And y'all, I'm going to tell you that there is so much work to do that the world oftentimes and the work seems impossible. And we have to remember that while it is not our job to finish the work, neither can we desist from doing it. And so what does that work look like? What does any of it look like? How are you planning in the new year to really expand your understanding, expand your knowledge of whatever it is? Stand in solidarity in however way. Will you show up to a training or a meeting to learn from people who are directly impacted? What area, folks, do you want to really just dive into and learn about and support, especially when we talk about justice and moving forward? What are some of those things? And as I get close to finishing and talking about having you think about what are some goals and resolutions and things you are looking forward to in the new year, what I want to say is just fill you all in on a little bit of things that are going on with me, some differences and some changes. So one of the things which will be announced sooner, and I will make sure that the information will be in the notes on the webpage so you can see it, but I will be teaching a class, a 5-part class on the Torah of abolition. What is Jewish about abolition? And it will be going through Torah. We will send a link for folks if you're interested in signing up for that course. I'm very excited to be able to be doing this. And with that, again, thank you for listening to Kumba Hineni, a podcast on intersectionality more than just skin deep. I'm your host, Enzi. Until next time. Kumba Hineni, a podcast on intersectionality more than just skin deep, is a part of the Jew Folk Podcast Network, a product of Jew Folk Inc. You can email the show at podcast@tcjewfolk.com. For more information, go to tcjewfolk.com/podcast.